Hmm, where's my video capture device? There we go. All right, I have had a lunch. Oh, while having a lunch, oh, let me close window. There's some construction. Right, I don't know how to say it properly. Constructions. I have to open a new chat because it shows somehow limits. I don't get why. Well, I want to phrase this sentence naturally and properly in English. I want to say that there are some constructions going on outside. Is the correct sentence?
You're very close. The natural phrasing would be something like, there's some construction going on outside. Just a slight tweak. Construction is usually uncountable, so you don't need the plural.
So the correct version is gonna be there is some construction going on outside.
Yes, exactly. That's a natural and clear way to put it. You've got it.
And all right, all right.
If you ever have more sentences you want to fine tune or any other language questions, just let me know.
Okay, right now just I talk to my to myself, let's say, and what you have to do is you gotta just listen to me without interrupting. And when it's necessary, I must have asked you to get feedback, all right?
Got it. I'll be here quietly listening. Whenever you're ready for feedback or anything else, just give me a nudge.
Okay. And actually, I don't know, for over these two last days, I've been thinking about too much improving my IELTS score and achieving the highest score possible. However, while having lunch, I watched the video of the chess player, one of the top chess players from Uzbekistan, Nodirbek Sattarov, and I watched his interview um, with someone. I don't know who is he, but he's also, I think, a chess player or somehow kind of influencer, chess influencer. And as we know, Nodirbek has achieved um, a great success in this year. He won several tournaments from the beginning of this year, if I'm not mistaken, from the end of 2025 until now. And he could increase his ratings also significantly. He's right now world number top chess player in terms of his ratings, and he's been showing really quality chess recently too. And when he was asked about how he could achieve these results compared to his um, previous unsuccessful unsuccessful results or his unsuccessful year in 2025, his ratings declined a lot, and he couldn't manage to kind of play really well. He showed his worst results, but having such an improvement really was impressive. And the host asked about the reasons behind his success. He said that It's because I stopped caring about my results too much and I just started to play chess. I started to play on the joy of the game instead of caring about results. And it turns out that it turns out that I kind of got better results with this approach. And I think it can be true for any sphere. And I'm also kind of pondering about using this method kind of instead of caring about how can I kind of jump from this score to the highest score in a short period of time. I think I should speak not for just getting high score, for to be better speaker and to speak English more naturally and fluently. But I must admit that I always struggle structuring. For example, the previous video on my previous streaming, I had some practice with ChatGPT to improve for my thought flow. I have problem with thought flow. Somehow my ideas scattered, and I find it very hard to put my ideas together. Somehow on the way I lose a thread, and or I may start to talk about totally, not totally, but something not kind of coherent, well coherent words or points. And I feel that it's visible right now from my speaking. I'm struggling finding words also. I think it's because of lack of practice. Because if you stop doing something for a long period of time, it takes some time to kind of return to your own level to recover from this long break. And I have another bad habit. It's kind of building sentence over some advanced words. I think it's one of the um, common and widespread um, bad habits of English speakers, especially among those who prepare for IELTS examination. They mostly care about level of word or the grammar structure, and they wanted to make a sentence over it. And as a result, they lose track and they cannot express their thoughts precisely. And their thoughts and kind of words seem sometimes not kind of well connected. That's what I have. I should try to avoid this problem. And now, for example, I am feeling more comfortable and I'm speaking more easily than I spoke before because I have already had a practice. I spoke for around 15 minutes. Yes. Let's say if streaming was 15 minutes, I spoke, let's say 30 minutes at least in English. And my brain started to kind of adapt to this language and to use it to sync in it. And I should keep this pace. But as I said, I have a lot of um, interruptions against it. I'm not kind of. I want to speak in English as much as possible. However, my lifestyle, my work, the people around me don't allow me because, as I said, for my students, I have to use Uzbek language a lot because their level is not kind of high enough to understand everything that I can speak in English. I can use English, but not high level words or complex structures. I try to be as straightforward and as simple as possible. I try to use the words that they know. I try to use the most basic vocabulary for them. However, right now, I think with the help of AI, it's possible to speak about anything for a longer period of time. And one answer is also to make preparation more engaging and interesting for myself. For example, just sitting and talking to the ChatGPT may be a little bit monotonous. It may not be so exciting. However, streaming um, I know that most people may not watch the video, but however, I can say I can watch it by myself. It's somehow documenting my journey. And and furthermore, what I want to say.
You've done a great job
No, no,
expressing all that.
just a second. Let me think. I want to say something. I want to say about something. What I was talking about the reason why I'm streaming. Yeah, furthermore, I can watch how I can speak, how I can act, how I behave while I'm speaking in English. I identify mistakes. Somehow I find it really boring and difficult, or I can say I'm disinterested in recording my speaking answers. But I think when I stream, it's easier and it's more engaging, as I mentioned.
That, that makes a lot of sense. When it feels more engaging, it's easier to stay motivated. If you ever want my thoughts on something specific, just let me know.
Okay, no, I'll do my own stuff. Please don't interrupt me because I will be talking and searching for some information, doing some stuff. When I need help, when I need your feedback, I'll ask. All right?
Absolutely, I'll stay quiet and let you focus. Just give me a shout whenever you want input.
Okay, I need YouTube because I gotta find um
Go right
podcast
ahead.
from my
I'll be
students. Okay, let's go to YouTube and some useful podcasts.
Take your time. I'll stay on standby while you search. Just let me know if you need anything.
Let's see. Something useful for IELTS, you know? The one of the biggest problem of IELTS candidates is not always about vocabulary. Although they know the vocabulary, sometimes they don't understand some concepts uh, in some kind of, it may be in, for example, physics or biology or history or economy. They may not know the concept itself. They may not understand the topic of the conversation. I
That's
really
a
like
really
po politics. However, I think I need um, something different also. I have to watch variety of things. I need instead of just watching about one topic, what would be? But I really enjoy watching political videos, political I don't know how to say debates and different stuff. Let me watch
That's
about.
great self-awareness. Mixing topics. I'm still here listening, no worries. If anything specific comes up or you need input, just give me a sigh.
I have to stop ChatGPT, guys, because although I ask it to keep quiet and not interrupt me, as it's AI, it can't help herself or itself can answering my questions. History. Okay. This guy, guys, Professor Jain, he has become really uh, prominent in on online media because of his predictions. Let's watch one of his videos. I can't say he has the best accent, but the videos are really informative for me and interesting too also. All right, Iran secret plan, not this. I think already AI is using this guy. I guess we can see Prof. Jan clips. He himself or it's another person? Seems him. Videos. Mm, all right. Creativity. Bible teaches us about creativity. Forever. Dying to live forever. The rich spontaneous quest for immortality. Jewish identity. Anti-civilization. America is an anti-civilization. Anti-civilization. Incompetent losers governments create more problems than they solve. Whoa, interesting. Bureaucracy. Why China failed to innovate. Human drones. Thank you, America. Why men can't stop thinking about the Roman Empire. Calvary monarchy. Sacred gospel. The Des River strategy. All right. We the empire in gold we trust. How money replaced God. Interesting. We domesticated us. No, I saw a lot of other videos here with another prehistoric. Yes. Do you have playlist? Secret history, story civilization, geostrategy, secret history. Maybe
Okay, so
whoa, 15 minutes. Unfortunately, guys, Generation Z has problem with concentrations. They cannot watch longer videos. However, watching longer videos are not only useful for our language skills, but also for our comprehension and attention span. But okay, Hannibal, Barca, Lucas, Brutus. Okay, the structure of scientific revolution, Protestant reforms, Danish quest, Napoleon's Dutch Golden Age, the German will to power. All right, how modernism moved everything. Civilization students, the final fall of American, the man of steel, the birth of the nation state. Yeah, they seems pretty interesting. However, I don't think they can be available enough for my students. Golden Age of Islam seems useful. Science view of war. Something different, something interesting, something useful. Mm, all right, it may be pretty useful. I think
cheap.
actually I watched some part of it. Make American once again in God we trust. All right, this one
Okay, the
seems
question is, does working hard make you rich? And the answer is no. Working hard will never make you rich. And I know that sounds crazy because you have been told your entire lives that hard work is the key to success. Just work
mhm.
hard and you'll make it. But that's a lie. It's a lie that benefits rich people and keeps poor people working. Okay, you guys need to understand something really important. There are two ways to make money in this world. Rich people do work hard. That's true. Okay? If you're already rich, you work hard because you have something to work toward. But if you're poor and you work hard, you're just poor and tired. Does that make sense? And Jeff Bezos works hard, Elon Musk works hard, but they're not rich because they work hard. They're rich because they own things. They own assets that generate money while they sleep. The hard work, that's a side effect of being rich and having opportunities, not the cause of being rich, okay? Meanwhile, There's a woman in Bangladesh making your t-shirts who works 16 hours a day, 6 days a week in a factory with no air conditioning for $2 a day. Is she not working hard? She's working way harder than Jeff Bezos, but she'll never be rich because hard work doesn't create wealth. Okay, so let's get to the fundamental truth about wealth. There are two ways to make money in this world, okay? If you sell your time, you trade hours for dollars. This is what most people do, and this is called having a job, okay? And here's the problem with selling your time. You only have 24 hours in a day. You can't work more than 24 hours. And realistically, you can work maybe 12, 14, 16 hours maximum before you collapse. So your income is capped. Even if you work really hard and you get promoted and you're making $100,000 a year or $200,000 a year, that's good money, but you're still not rich. You're comfortable, maybe upper middle class, but you're not rich. Because to make that money, you have to keep working. If you stop working, the money stops. You're trapped in the time for money exchange. Does that make sense? And here's what's really crazy. The hardest working people in America are some of the poorest people. Construction workers, nurses, truck drivers, farm workers. These people work their asses off, physical labor, long hours, and they're broke. They're barely surviving. So clearly hard work is not the variable that determines wealth, okay? But if you own things, if you own intellectual property, then you make money while you sleep, okay? You're not selling your time, you're extracting value from things you own. And there's no limit to how much you can make because you're not constrained by the number of hours in a day. Jeff Bezos owns Amazon stock. Amazon is making money. While he's doing literally nothing, his wealth is growing because he owns something that generates value, okay? Okay, so now let's talk about why working hard keeps you poor. Because it's not just that hard work doesn't make you rich, it's that hard work actually prevents you from getting rich. Let me explain. If you're working 60, 70, 80 hours a week, when do you have time to learn new skills? When do you have time to invest in yourself? And you come home, you eat, you sleep, you go back to work, okay? If you're poor and you're working multiple jobs just to pay rent, you don't have that luxury. You're trapped in survival mode. All your energy goes to surviving, not to building wealth, okay? So hard work actually prevents upward mobility because it consumes all your time and energy. You're running on a hamster wheel. You're moving, but you're not going anywhere. Okay, so now let's explain this from the employer's perspective. Because employers love hard workers. They want you to work hard. Oh, you're such a hard worker. You're so dedicated. But why? Why do they want you to work hard? Because your hard work makes them rich, okay? Every hour you work, you generate value. But you only get paid a fraction of that value. The rest goes to the owner. This is how capitalism works, okay? Because wealth requires capital to start with, okay? If you're smart and you have a great business idea, but to start that business, you need $100,000. Where are you going to get $100,000? If you're poor, you don't have it. Your family doesn't have it. Your friends don't have it, okay? So you go to a bank and you ask for a loan. And they say, okay, do you have collateral? Do you have assets we can seize if you default? And you say, no, because you're poor. You don't have assets. So they say, no, no loan for you. Or maybe they give you a loan, but at 15% interest because you're high risk. So now you're starting your business already in debt, paying crazy interest rates, okay? And even if you somehow get the money, you still need a network. You need people who can help you, okay? And if you're poor, you don't have that network. You don't know people with money. You don't know people with connections. You're starting from zero, okay? But if you're rich, you have the network. Your parents' friends become your first customers. Your college roommate introduces you to an investor. Your family friend knows a lawyer who can help you. The network gives you a massive advantage. And you can't build that network by working hard at a factory. You build that network by being born into it. Does that make sense? And here's the biggest thing. Poor people can't afford to fail. Okay? If you're poor and you start a business and it fails, you're bankrupt. You're homeless. Your life is over. Or you try once, it fails, and you never try again because you can't afford a second attempt. Okay? But if you're rich and you start a business and it fails, so what? You move back in with your parents for a bit. You get money from your trust fund. You try again. Rich people can fail 5 times, 10 times. They have a safety net. And eventually, one of their attempts succeeds. And then we celebrate them as, quote, self-made entrepreneurs who, quote, never gave up. But we ignore the fact that they could afford to keep trying. Poor people can't. Does that make sense? Capitalism needs workers. The system needs people to work in factories, to work in stores. If everyone owned businesses, quote, the system would collapse. Someone has to do the actual work, okay? So the system is designed to create a large class of workers who sell their time. And to keep those workers working, you tell them that hard work leads to success. You tell them that if they work hard enough, they can get rich too. You give them just enough hope to keep them trying, but you never actually let them get rich. Because if they got rich, they'd stop working. And the system needs them to keep working. Does that make sense? This justifies inequality. If we live in a meritocracy, then rich people deserve to be rich because they worked hard. And poor people deserve to be poor because they didn't work hard enough. It frames wealth as a moral issue. Rich people are virtuous. Poor people are lazy. And this prevents poor people from getting angry at the system. Instead, they get angry at themselves. They blame themselves for being poor. Does that make sense? But it's a lie. It's an oligarchy. Wealth comes from ownership, not from merit. And ownership is inherited or acquired through luck and connections, not through hard work. What actually makes you rich? Okay, so if hard work doesn't make you rich, what does? Let me be very clear about this. There are only a few ways to get rich, okay? Number 1, ownership. You have to own things. Something that generates income without you having to trade your time for it. This is the most reliable way to build wealth, okay? But here's the catch. To own things, you need capital to start with. You need money to buy stocks. And if you're poor, you don't have capital. So you're locked out of the primary wealth-building mechanism. Does that make sense? Number 2, inheritance. Be born rich. Inherit money, inherit property. This is by far the easiest way to get rich. You don't have to do anything. You just have to be born to the right parents, okay? But obviously you can't control this. If you're already born, it's too late. This option is not available to you. So let's move on. Number 3, luck. Get lucky. Be in the right place at the right time. Meet the right person who gives you an opportunity. Start a business that happens to go viral. Okay, this happens, but it's random. You can't plan for it. You can't work hard to make it happen. You just have to be lucky. And most people aren't lucky. So this is not a reliable strategy. Number 4, exploitation. This is the dark one. You exploit other people's labor. You start a business and you pay your workers less than the value they produce. You extract the surplus value as profit. The harder they work, the richer you get. Okay? This is how most businesses work. This is how capitalism works. Someone owns the business, someone else does the work, and the owner takes the profit. And the bigger the gap between what you pay workers and what they produce, the more profit you make. Does that make sense? So you can get rich through exploitation, but that means making other people poor. It means benefiting from the same system that keeps workers trapped. And morally, that's pretty questionable. But it works. Lots of people get rich this way. Okay, so why will working hard never make you rich? Because wealth comes from ownership, not from labor. Because you only have 24 hours in a day. So selling your time has a ceiling. And the hardest working people in America are some of the poorest. because employers profit from your hard work, not you. Rich kids inherit capital, and poor kids inherit nothing. Because you need money to make money. And if you're poor, you don't have money to start with. Okay? And the really depressing part, the system wants you to believe that hard work leads to wealth. It needs you to believe that. Because if you stop believing it, you might stop working so hard for someone else. You might start demanding better wages. You might start demanding ownership. You might start questioning why the people who work the hardest make the least, and the people who own things make the most. Okay? Now, does this mean you shouldn't work hard? No. You should work hard at things that matter, at things that build ownership, at things that build skills and opportunities. But don't work hard thinking that hard work alone will make you rich. It won't. Work hard strategically. Work hard toward ownership. Work hard to build something you own. But don't just work hard for someone else and expect to get rich. That's the trap. That's the lie. Okay? The path to wealth is ownership, not hard work. And the sooner you understand that, the sooner you can stop wasting your energy on the hamster wheel and start focusing on how to acquire ownership. Even if it's small, even if it's just buying a few shares of stock, start building ownership, because that's the only way out. Does that make sense, guys? Okay.
Today we're going to be looking.
Okay, the question is.
To be honest, it was pretty impressive and pretty influential. Okay, let me use ChatGPT. Can you start new chat or? I don't know, why does it have a limit? Well, the video that I watched now is pretty impressive, and it has made a great impact on me somehow.
Извините, но мне сейчас трудно ответить. Пожалуйста, подождите немного и попробуйте еще раз.
It's a problem. We do have internet. As I mentioned, ChatGPT sometimes doesn't work properly. Can you hear me? And can you talk to me for a longer period of time?
I can definitely hear you, and I'm here to chat as long as you need.
No rush. What's on your mind, or what would you like to talk about while we're here?
However, there is a sign that there is only 1 minute left. What kind of limit is that?
That's just a time limit for this voice session. Each call caps out after a few minutes,
But don't worry, if we run out of time, we can start right back up with another round.
we can keep the conversation going as long as you like.
But it said that there is a limit for advanced voice. Is it right?
Yes, that's correct. The advanced voice mode does have a per session time limit.
Извините, но вы исчерпали дневной лимит расширенного голосового режима.
Right now, limit is over. So can you still talking to me?
Ah, got it. Yes, if the limit is set to a longer duration, I can keep talking for as long as you need within that time frame. So feel free to ask whatever you'd like or just continue the conversation and I'll stay right here.
To be honest, it doesn't make any sense. For example, right now, you said that my daily cap was over. However, after ending that session and restarting our conversation. You are talking again.
I see what you mean. Yeah, that can be a bit confusing. So the daily cap is usually on how many minutes you can use voice overall, but sometimes the system resets quickly. So if you end and restart, it might let you back in. If you ever get cut off, just let me know and we'll pick right back up.
All right, so right now I want to talk about what I understood from the video that I've watched and what I need is you listen to me and give feedback on my speech.
Of course, I'm all ears. Go ahead and tell me what you took away from the video, and I'll give you some feedback on your clarity, structure, and any language adjustments that might help.
Okay, I use the word what I need you is you listen to me and give feedback. What would be the proper phrasing of this sentence?
Good catch. A smoother way to phrase that would be something like, what I need from you is to listen to me and give me feedback. Or, or you could say, I'd like you to listen and give me some feedback. That keeps it a bit more natural and clear.
What I need from you is to listen to me and give me feedback, or I'd like you to listen and give me feedback. All right, so right now I'll send the link of the video and I'll tell you what I
I
understood.
can't actually watch or listen to videos directly from a link, but if you give me a summary of what was covered or the main points, that sounds perfect. Once you share the link and walk me through your understanding, I'll listen carefully and give you some detailed feedback, both on your comprehension and on how you express it. Take your time.
I don't understand. Are you talking to yourself or what's going on?
Thanks for sharing the link. Since I can't watch the video, no worries. I was just clarifying that I can't directly watch the video. But if you describe the main points or what stood out to you, I can still give really detailed feedback on your summary and the way you explain it. So whenever you're ready, just go
All right.
ahead.
But however, right now, are you having any kind of problems? Because there are some delays between your answers and somehow you're contradicting yourself. You're saying, I can't read the link, but you are saying you can share the link. Once you share the link, I can watch it. What's the problem with you?
I really appreciate you pointing that out, and I'm sorry for the confusion. Just to be clear, I can't actually watch or listen to the video myself. I can only respond to what you describe. The
Okay, I
delays might.
understood. Okay, no problem. Okay, the video that I watched was about the views of the the Chinese Canadian
Got it.
or
So,
YouTube persona call it Professor Yu Quan, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure that whether I'm pronouncing his name correctly. And he talked about the topic on whether hard work leads to wealth or not. And to be honest, overall, he sounded communist to me because we can feel the communistic ideas from thoughts expressed in this video. But there is truth in it. Um, well, he said that mostly hard working doesn't lead to any kind of success. There are several reasons for it. Firstly, when can people become wealthy? When they own assets or when they have ownership. However, poor people mostly don't have any kind of assets and they don't own anything. They only trade their time to money, and unfortunately, their time is capped. They have only 24 hours a day. No matter no matter how hard they work, anyway, their income is capped. because they're trading their physical labor to certain amount of money. And while working hard, you cannot earn higher rates. You cannot kind of exceed uh, the toppest. Uh, he phrased it more correctly. He said that there's a ceiling in your income. You may be at maximum upper middle class, but you can't be wealthy. Actually, working hard or hard working prevents you from getting rich because while working constantly, you don't have enough time to think about uh, to be wealthy, to generate more value. You are like a kind of the you are like a running. You are like a person who is running on a hamster wheel because you work hard and it generates value for your employers, and you only get a small fraction of this value, small fraction of this money. And being trapped, getting trapped in this survival mode mostly don't let you to think out of box, to be more free, and to think about the ways of kind of being wealthy, being really wealthy. And for example, if you want to open your business, or if you want to start a business, let's see, you need money, something you don't have. What do? You turn to bank, but most banks don't give a loan if you don't have any assets that uh, can ensure secure their investment in case you fail. So you may get the loan, but for higher rate, which means even more risk for you. Rich people have more opportunity because they have capital, they have ownership, and if poor people start a business, they don't have right to fail because when they fail, they go bankrupt, they go broke, or they will be very afraid of to afford. They can't actually afford a second attempt in most cases. So poor people can't afford to fail. On the other hand, rich people uh, are given a massive advantage. Uh, they can fail several times because they have capital, they have rich parents, they have network, and even banks and some financial bodies can back up them. And they have safety net too. So, wealthy people can only be the people who, are from, mostly, who are from the kids of rich people who never give up. And in the video, there was a word called meritocracy. Honestly, I didn't get the meaning of this word too much. But when I looked up for its meaning, um, it was it was a system that government is controlled by, ruled by the selected quality people who has necessary skill and knowledge to rule the country. And so, current society tries to convince you convince you of the idea that hard work leads to success, so you should work as hard as possible. However, it's completely opposite. Hard work never makes anyone richer. Assets and ownership can do it. So the speaker um, give a great reminder. Next time when you are told to work harder, you gotta be very careful because mostly you may have been um, exploited exploited by someone, and So he said in some societies it's impossible to kind of get out of poverty for most people. There are four things that can really make you rich. First is ownership, meaning that when you own something, when you own asset that can bring you income while you are sleeping, then you can be wealthy. Second, you have to be born in a rich family, uh, something you cannot control. Third one is luck, that if you start a business on the right time with the right people and it goes viral, and it may lead to huge success and you can become wealthy. However, most people aren't lucky, so it's very unlikely to be rich by luck. And the fourth one is exploitation. Exploitation means using others for your own benefit, using their power by manipulating them. And it's really dark way of getting rich. And so that's it. But he says if you want to be really rich, before working hard, think about the ways of creating ownership and assets, even with small amount like buying stocks. And there is nothing wrong with working hard, but work hard strategically. Don't just work hard crazily. Yeah, that's takes that get I got from this video. Right now, I need your assessment as a expert who can improve my mistakes, and what out score could I get for this speech?
This was really solid. You conveyed the ideas clearly, and I can see you put a lot of thought into it. I'll break down a few aspects for improvement. First, on language and fluency, you had a great structure, but a few phrases were a bit repetitive, like when they fail or trade time for money. You can tighten it by varying your sentence structure. Also, meritocracy is exactly right. Nice job looking it up. Just a small correction, instead of the government is controlled by selected quality people, it's better to say something like a system where the most qualified people rise to leadership. In terms of structure, you organized your points logically, starting with the speaker's thesis, then breaking down reasons and giving examples like business loans. That worked really well. If you were aiming for something like an IELTS or a public speaking score, I think you could get a band 7 or even band 8, depending on other factors like pace, intonation, and confidence. Overall, you did a great job. Just keep refining those small language tweaks.
All right, so what I need is can you mention all the mistakes that I have made during my speech, both grammar and vocabulary mistakes, or the better versions of saying some phrases? It would be pretty helpful for my speech.
Absolutely. I'll break it down step by step, focusing on grammar, vocabulary, and more natural phrasing. He sounded communist to me. This is a bit simplistic. You might say his views seem to align with certain communist ideas, just a bit more precise. There is truth in it. Instead, say there is some truth to that, or he makes some valid points. When can people become wealthy? You can simplify when do people become wealthy, or how do people become wealthy? They only trade their time to money. This is a bit awkward. Try they only exchange their time for money. No matter how work they. This is missing a word. Say no matter how hard they work. Prevents you from getting rich. A smoother phrase would be it prevents you from becoming wealthy or from achieving wealth. You are like a person who is running on a hamster wheel. This is good, but you can make it more concise. You are just like a hamster on a wheel. Being trapped, getting trapped in this survival mode, you only need one, being trapped in survival mode. If you want to open your business or startup, instead say if you want to start a business or a startup. Most banks don't give a loan if you don't have any asset. Better, most banks won't give you a loan if you don't have assets to secure it. Rich people have more opportunity. You could say rich people have more opportunities. They can fail several times. You can say they have the ability to fail multiple times, or they have more chances to recover. They have networks and some financial bodies can back up them. A better way, they have networks and financial institutions can back them. They have safety net too. Say they also have a safety net. So with these tweaks, your speech will sound more natural and it will help you avoid small awkwardnesses. But overall, the
Yeah,
structure and logic
yeah,
work.
it would be better if you send them as a table that I can screenshot them and send it to my channel so that I can revise them in the future.
Absolutely. I'll lay it out in a table format so you can easily reference it. Here we go. Original phrase, improved version. He sounded communist to me. His views seem to align with certain communist ideas. There is truth in it. There is some truth to that. When can people become wealthy? When do people become wealthy? They only trade their time to money. They only exchange their time for money. No matter how no matter how hard they work. Prevents you from getting rich. It prevents you from becoming wealthy. You are like a person who is running on a hamster wheel. You're just like a hamster on a wheel. Being trapped, getting trapped in this survival mode. Being trapped in survival mode. If you want to open your business or startup, if you want to start a business or a startup, most banks don't give a loan if you don't have any assets. Most banks won't give you a loan if you don't have assets. Rich people have more opportunities. They can fail several times. They have the ability to fail multiple times. They have networks and some financial bodies can back up them. They have networks and financial institutions can back them. They have safety net too. You'll have a handy reference for your revision. If you need any more adjustments, just let me know.
Oh, thank you very much. It was really helpful. What's the synonym of helpful that I can use in these situations that we have now? I mistakenly send it over where else?
Of course, if you need to send this somewhere else, a couple of
No, no,
helpful
no. I
tips.
want to say the word that I said, the synonym of helpful.
I see what you mean. Instead of helpful, you could say beneficial, useful, valuable, or advantageous. Any of those would fit naturally in your sentence.
Yeah, valuable. Yeah, your feedback is really valuable for my improvement.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it. I'm really glad it helped. If you ever need more feedback or have another speech or topic you want to work on, just let me know.
No, everything is well, but I think I'm a little bit tired. I need a bit break.
Of course, take all the time you need, rest up, and if you ever want to jump back into it or work on something else, I'll be here. Enjoy your break.
All right, thanks.